Good afternoon or morning to those of you joining us from Western Australia, and welcome to INCITE in Conversation. My name is Andrew Finegan and I am the editor of INCITE magazine. So firstly, I acknowledge that we are broadcasting online from the lands of the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people, and I repay my respects to elders past, present and future. So, usual Zoom housekeeping, please keep your computers set to mute and your cameras off. Also, please do use the group chat function if you want to make any comments or ask any questions. We will have time to answer questions toward the end of the session. So today I am joined by Geijsman and Kirsty Lightfoot. John is the Early Childhood Programs Officer at the City of Fremantle, where he gets to do cool stuff with Minecraft, Lego, coding programs, children's programs, emerging technology, and much more. Kirsty is the Youth Services Librarian with the City of South Perth, and she gets to bring fun programs to the city, including library laser tag for teens, under 5 stories and rhymes, and holiday school programs, and of course, LibraryCraft. So today's conversation follows John and Kirsty's article, LibraryCraft, Creating Community Online, which was published in the latest issue of INCITE. And they describe how they used Minecraft as the basis for engaging youth, starting from small beginnings in 2019 and growing into a successful statewide youth program. So please make them welcome John and Kirsty. There they are.
Hi. Here we are. We're here. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm John, just in case you weren't sure.
I'm Kirsty.
Yep.
So, firstly, John, can you please take us into the world of LibraryCraft? We want to see the world as everyone else sees it.
Not a problem. We might have to come back because the game has just crashed on that one.
Always the way. We tested it about 5 times. And, you know, it was absolutely foolproof. Technology has,
that's right.
Zumped us as usual.
I'll get it away again. You're right.
That's all right. Well, would you like to, whilst John's figuring things out, Kirsty, would you like to describe what LibraryCraft is and what people do in LibraryCraft?
Yeah, absolutely. So LibraryCraft for us is a WA-based and spread out server, all online, and it's for 7 to 17-year-olds to join in LibraryCraft. They can kind of do most Minecraft things. So there's survival mode, we do creative build competitions every month, bed wars, we've got we've had some treasure hunts recently. There's a lot that they can kind of do and explore and also work together. We've got project builds. So a lot of the guys are now actually progressing their skills so much they're doing project builds together. And kind of it's endless. We always have something new that people want to do. They come through with suggestions. We've had a couple ourselves. They're doing dream libraries at the moment for Library and Information Week. Some really great great builds so far. So it's Minecraft, but almost like that step up, as we've got this big community that really push each other to learn more. And I think we're nearly in and ready to share the screen.
I think so. Let's try this again. Here we go. Share. All right, here we go. So we're only going to show you the main lobby world. This is a world that I have just plopped in. I didn't actually build this, so it would have taken me forever. This is where every single player starts when they start the server. And this is the gateway world to everything. So the rules are visible straight away, and we'll talk about them later on. You've got a map of the world. So this world is a giant area of floating islands with one massive ship. The ship holds all the gates to the other worlds, some basic commands that they can go through to help them with the play. No players are able to break anything here. This is a locked world. Information about the competitions that we run, information about trading and claiming land so they can protect areas that only they can build. Large building down here where it renders in is our post office. So players have items that other people want or they want to give to somebody else and they're not online, they can leave it in the little post box. I've got a few hidden in here, very library-esque, which looks pretty cool. But they'll be expanding that pretty soon. There's lobbies for the mini games to start off with. So this is the Treasure Island. One of our resident builder legends built this island for us. We've got a space creative world that we're going to be doing a workshop with pretty soon. Flat creative plots. We've got a metropolitan build as well, so they can build massive city skylines. Project worlds, so they can have whole projects instead of just one tiny plot. They can have a whole world. And then mini games. That's our jail. If players are naughty, I'll explain a bit more about that later on. They don't like going there. Don't know why.
So John,
yeah,
each of these is like a portal that takes you into
that's
a little subworld.
So if we were to go into the PvP lobby, so this is where they do PvP, player versus player, and you've got gates everywhere to the different locations. So these signs actually will teleport them to the different worlds for PvP. It's all in one spot, so they know where they have to go for this game, and this is a separate game again. They'll go through to a different world, and it's all just organized. And then this ship here is how you get to those worlds and all the other ones that we've got. So they can type in a command or they can teleport straight through. We've got our survival worlds in here. So the creative lobby that we saw before, monthly competitions, they'll go through there every single month. Mini games, back to the islands, another mini game, projects lobby, mini game. There's a lot of mini games.
Something for everyone.
And then the new Fremantle library. So I've built the new Fremantle library in Minecraft for the kids to explore as well.
Cool.
The more popular ones are the monthly competitions and the survival worlds. They get refreshed pretty often. And they can also see, so new players can also see who the staff are and where they're from. So we've got our heads there, and we have different libraries that they're coming from, and our competition judges as well. So some of these are volunteers, some of them are library staff.
Yep.
It's quite a huge lobby, and it probably seems for a very quick tour a little overwhelming, but the kids really get into it. Like, it does work. There is a structure and an organization, and they know where they're going. And everyone's also really happy to help out. So if you get stuck, and I've gotten stuck, I think first time in there, the kids all told me where I needed to go and what I need to do.
So they can access the communications in game as well as through Discord, the chat communication tool, which we use pretty heavily. So if there's any players that aren't online, and there are players online that need help, then they can just put it in chat and somebody will see it and they'll reach out, which is really great. That's how we moderate the game as well.
So I guess people can build things, they can play games, but you also mentioned that they can also chat with each other and sort of, I guess, have those kind of online conversations in a I guess, a safe youth space as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
I'll log out of this.
Sure.
So you can see our beautiful faces again.
So we use both, obviously, the in-game chat, and then the main platform for this chat kind of community is Discord. So we have a server that's been created on Discord. Players don't have to be in Discord. It's not a requirement to be part of LibraryCraft, which I think is important because a lot of our younger members maybe their parents aren't as keen for that at that point, but it's always, obviously, as they get a bit older, maybe they want to join it. But it has a whole bunch of different channels. So Discord's a great system where people can have anything chat where honestly anything is spoken about. But it's split up into help channels about the competition. Lego chat is a big one because they're all quite Lego obsessed as well, as is John. It's basically anything you can kind of think of, we've got a space for them to talk about, and we're really seeing the fun youth chat, which is a bit lighthearted, and then we're also seeing them celebrate school. Like, some kids come in and they're like, oh, I got 80% on a test, and everyone jumps in and celebrates. We're seeing them talk about, you know, what they've done over Easter, especially with COVID and the lockdowns, and supporting each other, and it's led into some really great community conversations, and it's a really supportive online group, which has been really lovely.
I find it really interesting when I think back to when I was a nerdy teenager. I used to spend quite a bit of time on chat boards and forums. And, as the technology has changed, one thing that's always, I guess, remained quite constant is quite that quite simple function of just being able to chat with people and connect through just conversation. So I find it really interesting that, they can play in these worlds, but they can also come into this room and just connect with people in that basic way.
And we're seeing it connections from metro and country areas that you wouldn't normally get through a library program. So it's pretty exciting.
So John,
yes.
Back to the beginning. Started small. How many people were involved, and when did you decide to go big, and what was involved with that?
Yeah, so this is back before I had grey hairs. No, I'm kidding. So we started off in the end of 2019. I spun up a server for our Coder Dojo kids. They're all Minecraft fans like I am, and as a reward for their hard work, I said, well, how about we start a Minecraft server and you guys can play together? And oh yeah, that's great. I said, okay, right, we're doing it really small, just through a basic Minecraft realm. So this is something that was like a pretty straight base game, very limited with what you could do. We had about 10 players on. And I said, look, don't tell your mates, because the more people that want to get access means you can't get access. So we sort of had a fair bit of fun with that. And then at the start of 2020, we moved over to a fully hosted environment. And it allowed us to put extra plugins on to control the server. So we were able to put more moderator controls on and extra tools for the players to help out with players in protecting their builds, or filters and stuff for typing naughty things in chat, that sort of stuff. It really helped the program to come alive. I've been wanting to have a server like this myself, even as a teenager playing this game. So I kind of knew straight away what I wanted the server to be. And so we had a bit of a think about what we wanted to do. And my team leader was involved with it as well at the very start. And it sort of grew from there. We went into the start of 2020, assuming everything was going to be fantastic and it was going to be another year. And then the world caught on fire and things happened, as we all know. And that's when we sort of, before that happened, we sort of hit January, February time. We said, okay, well, how about, we open this up to other local councils, because the more fun you have with other people, they can get involved as well. Had a number of other councils reach out to me and say, hey, how have you done this? We want to do the same. So, well, why don't you join in on ours? And then, just before some of the sort of the COVID lockdowns happened and library shutdowns happened, we opened it up to statewide. And that's when we had a pretty massive influx of new councils come on board and more players, and now here we are.
And to what extent did you need to rely on, I guess, outsourcing some of the setup costs? To what extent were you able to, use your resources in-house, or rely on other people to help get that set up?
Yeah, we, being a Minecraft fan from way back, I sort of had an idea of what I needed to do. I'd never dealt with anything this big before. So one of the crucial people that helped me out was Mark from Cairns Minecraft. G'day, mate. That was amazing in sort of helping me get set up and what sort of stuff to think about and what plugins would work. So these guys are there for that sort of advice, and James as well. And that relationship's been ongoing, which has been fantastic. There's been a fair bit of stuff that the Minecraft server admin community is really, really good. They're really helpful with helping each other out. If there's ever a question of this one's not working, or this isn't working, or this update's throwing this out, you end up chatting to either server admins or put it up on Reddit and say, hey, what do I do with this? It's a really great community that helps each other out with fixing problems. Talking to plugin developers from around the world, they can say, oh yeah, well, this is working because this isn't working. There is a bit of sort of inside knowledge into how a basic server works, but it's a lot of there's a bit of suck it and see, and just see what happens. But there's a fair bit of their learning from each other, and the players know the game intimately. So they're like, oh, this doesn't work because this isn't working. You know, it's okay, right. There's so much to this game with the inside mechanics and that sort of stuff. It's been pretty amazing to get the support from the players as well. So, oh, you should try this, or maybe this would work if this was changed. They've really taken ownership of it, which is really cool. Yeah.
In terms of those mechanics and the functionality of the game, were there any unintended consequences of, you know, applying certain, I guess, not limitations, but I guess universe rules, like, you know, economics, for example, the way money works, or the way people are rewarded for different activities?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, we wanted to have a bit of sort of real world education stuff in there as well. We have a server economy that we have in game, so we use sort of fake money to buying, selling, and trading.
Which has led to some great conversations around why that isn't more expensive or less expensive around supply and demand, which has been actually a nice little conversation around, well, it's actually what would happen in the real world. So if no one wants it, that's kind of what's happening.
The amount of times we've had to have a conversation with the players going, you can't buy all my stuff, that's not fair. You're selling it on, that's not fair. So well, that's the way the world works, guys. That's, you know, somebody can do that. That's actually totally fine. It's been interesting having those sort of real world conversations with these kids and explaining that, look, that's a basic economy. That's what happens in the real world. So getting them to learn that in a seemingly simple Minecraft game is pretty cool.
So I'm curious to know how hard it was to pitch the project to management, both like at the small scale, but also, Kirsty, when you came on board, and I guess how you go about supporting other libraries in getting them to come on board and convince their managers that this is, you know, a really worthwhile thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I think from starting it off with Freo, Freo is a real council that is willing to just give stuff a go. And we're able to do the sort of stuff that says we want to try this because we think it's going to be a great tool for these kids. It's going to be a heap of fun. Let's give it a go. The thing with helping to get this thing underway, I just said, look, I want to start a server. I think these kids are really going to get a kick out of it. The team leader at the time was also a Minecraft fan, so he jumped on board straight away, which is really helpful. And we both saw the potential of the program where it could go even at that early stage. Saying like, what if we made this bigger? What if we invited other councils to get on board? It really just grew from there. And then COVID happened and we almost had to play catch up. We had, we're like when the libraries were all shut down over here, I had about 15 councils within the space of an hour or two reach out and go, we want in because we've got nothing else left. And it was a lot of playing catch up at that time, going, right, this is the thing, this is happening.
On I guess our side coming in after you made it into LibraryCraft and it becoming a WA server for local governments. Similar thing to John, so yourself are really quite open to trialing things, giving things a shot. We try and focus on digital literacy and look at trying to solve problems outside of normal routes. So pitching it was okay, but what does help, and if anyone's interested and is from WA and wanting to join the server, it is set up to be supported. You are supported in the process. So we could kind of dip our toe in, do promotional stuff, just put out some flyers, the marketing's pre-branded, it's there ready to go, it's updated every month with the new competitions and things. So that support means that it kind of is a no-brainer to just give it a shot. And then we kind of dipped our toe in and then completely cannonballed when COVID happened. There was some changes towards John's role, so then I came in more as an admin, which has been an awesome experience. So we now really kind of get to develop and work on the server together with local governments. But yeah, it's the way that LibraryCraft is set up, that you're not alone. You're not just a local government and you just pitch in and good luck. And I also like the fact, we've talked about it, that the end user outcome is the same. So if you're a small country library, if you are promotional versus financial, there's no difference to your users. So there's no, you get a small server or you don't get as much support. And I think that's really lovely because we are trying to reach everybody in WA, and we don't want people who have got a small library that maybe isn't operational as often as metro libraries are to be disadvantaged. Like, these kids get to come on and do the same stuff and connect with the same people. And yeah, LibraryCraft has really fostered everybody getting on board in a really supportive way.
So as a dedicated youth program, obviously child safety is paramount, especially online. So can you tell us a bit about the, I guess, the verification and vetting process of, you know, whitelisting the people that are involved in the in LibraryCraft?
Yeah, absolutely. So very simply, it's jumping on and filling in a form is the first step. And on there, we do have, yeah, on the website, sorry, thank you. Jumping onto the website and filling in a form. We ask for their Minecraft name, so we can actually make sure that they do have a Minecraft account and they do need to have a Java account. We then have also places for them to put a parent email, which we need. We need parent contact. It can't just be them and their own Gmail account. We want to have confirmation that the parent knows that they're joining in, and it's not just something that they've said that they can be part of and mum and dad actually have got no idea. And then the key bit is once we get that form, we email back, we'll confirm that their username is valid and that they're all okay, but we also need ID. So they have to send us something that's got their date of birth on it. And that can be, we've had some letters from schools, we've had smart writers, whatever it is. We don't keep the ID. We, you know, it's just to cite that they are between the ages of 7 and 17. And then we can whitelist them and put them in the server. So it's kind of that twofold of making sure we've got parental information and parental okay, and that they've seen what the server does. And then we have that ID that we're not whitelisting people that are too young or too old for the server. And then in game, we're really promoting e-safety. So they don't show details, none of the kids know each other's names, ages, where they go to school, locations, anything like that, which is what's kind of helped the rural and metro kind of connection. Like, these kids have become really good friends, and I think they wouldn't meet normally because one might be in Albany, one might be in, I don't know, north of the river somewhere, Wanneroo. But that barrier is gone because you don't know it. They're all just part of our server. So we really do try and protect their ID and their identity and all those kind of personal details. And because of the conversations we've had, they do it naturally. They actually check each other. Every now and then someone says something that's slightly too personal about who they are, and every kid's like, delete the message, no, don't do that. So they're really good about it.
Yeah, they're great. That's which is cool.
Yeah.
And some people might have noticed before we went into the world, there are rules, and rules, there are consequences for breaking those rules. So can you tell us a bit about that, John?
Yeah, so we're pretty strong on the rules because there are younger players as well as, so we have players that are 7, we have players that are 17, all playing on the same server. So our rules, first and foremost, is all about respect. Respecting the other players, respecting the staff, treat other people as you would expect to be treated. No griefing, so no intentionally destroying other people's builds or stealing their stuff or that sort of stuff. No swearing in inappropriate languages in chat or signs or builds or Discord. A lot of these sort of rules carry over to Discord as well. No bullying or harassing others, no client-side mods or X-ray sort of things that would give you a distinct advantage. A lot of that stuff is, for these sort of servers, is pretty frowned upon anyway. No chat spam, no advertising of other products or servers, and no allowing anyone else to use your LibraryCraft account, because there is a whitelisting process. You can't share an account. The penalties for that, we are pretty strong on these, and this is, I think, again, is one of the strengths of the server. The first offence, whether that's in game or whether that's in Discord, is a written warning. So we'll actually put in chat or in Discord, this is your official warning for blah. If they continue, they get sent into the jail, in-game jail, for 48 hours. So the jail means that they're in that little building there, they're in a cell. These cells are very small. They can't break any blocks, they can't destroy, they can't place, they can't chat, they can't put any commands in. They're just there, they're stuck. They can join the game and they can see the chat, but they can't actually do anything about it. We'll put a little message up on the wall saying, look, this is why you're here. it works quite well. They know once they're in there. A lot of them are curious as to, oh, what's in the jail? What's in the jail? I had questions about it yesterday. It's not fun. They don't want to be in jail. Once they're in there, they don't want to be back again. If they have a third offence after that 48-hour time in jail, they go back again in the third time for a month. And that's a pretty strict, we set it for a month, that's it. They're also muted. If they're in jail, they're muted in Discord if they have a Discord account, so they can't chat in Discord either, because they're able to chat in game. And if they continue, they haven't learnt their lesson after for 1 month, thanks Mark, Judge John, they're permanently banned, that's it.
Right.
They can't come back. There's no rules. Usually with that, we send an email to the parents saying, look, this has happened, this is why. We've had to unfortunately say goodbye. There are times where that escalates to a permanent ban straight away. It hasn't been very often, but sometimes it does need to be the case.
I feel like getting the call or the email to the parents is worse than getting banned in some ways.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a trump card sometimes, really.
Librarian's going to call your mom.
Yeah, it is one of those things like the kid can be like totally funny or whatever. I don't care. You do what you want. That's okay. I'll let your parents know as well. Oh no! Please don't. I'm sorry. It's yeah. Look, we don't take any pleasure in doing it because it is a bit of a shame to have to do it, but we're trying to teach these lessons as well. So it's one of those ways that we think is the best way to do it.
So we've got a few questions in the chat, and if anyone here has any questions, now's the time to put them in there. First one from Cheryl is, how heavily do you monitor the chat?
It's, if we're in game, we'll see the chat constantly. The availability of Discord is that we can see all of the in-game chat in Discord without actually being in the game. We can chat to them again. We have plugins and bots in the Discord server that will ping us and notify us if there are sort of things that we assume are red flags. We've also learnt enough with this crew to know what is a red flag. The sort of conversations they're having, we can have a quick scan back. We have lives as well, so we're not on it constantly, but it can be just a matter of jumping on your phone, flicking through, going, yeah, it looks okay. It is monitored, but having the Discord available is really great. And like we said before, the kids self-moderate themselves. They know what is expected of them, and they'll the players that have been on for a long time will help out with it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing we haven't really had a chance to talk about is that it's not just us. We have moderators. We do have volunteer moderators, other library staff, youth centre staff, a whole bunch of people that have come on board. So yeah, we do have lives, and we try not to, you can't be on the Discord all the time, but yeah, we know what you stand for, and there is kind of always someone within, an hour or two or something like that. So I think that's following on from that. We run 24-hour monitoring. No, but we also know that the kids aren't on at 11 o'clock at night. Like, we know our peak times as well. So after school, school holidays, we really step it up. Weekends, absolutely. So it's kind of just, knowing those things and doing the best we can.
And like Mark said, chat's stored, chat's saved. Every interaction in the game is saved in the console. So we have, even private messages, they're all logged, they're all saved in there. It's all very much safe and secure.
Okay, another question. Do kids have to be members of the library?
No, we'd love them to be members of the library, but they don't have to.
As long as they go through the whitelisting process.
Yeah. And we'll promote our library programs across the state as well to these players and say, hey, look, you might not be from Fremantle, but we're doing this program, or Kirsty's running a program out of South Perth. And we get a lot of cross promotion, which is pretty cool. And
we kind of talk, because it's a chat server, about what we're doing, like not our personal lives, but the kids have been interested in what events are running. So they're not members, but we sort of promote libraries in a very cool way to kind of across everywhere, which is
what we do as a job as well.
Yeah.
What we do as a job, because like they realize that we're getting paid for this. I want your job. And this isn't what we do all the time. We do other stuff as well, and you get to talk about it as well, which is really cool.
Just scrolling through the questions, we're almost out of time. Cheryl's asked if they can get a list of plugins that are working for you. I think it's probably best if they get in touch with you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, reach out.
I love how in this chat, people are already exchanging details and getting into that knowledge sharing frame of mind, which is something that's talking about
have
everything.
a chat channel. I'm more than happy to have other people involved. It's fine.
Definitely.
Sue's asked, do you have Minecraft accounts, or do the kids have to purchase their own?
They have to have their own. Yeah. We don't purchase anymore.
Sorry. Do you have a swear filter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
How big is your server?
That is not really. We have about 250 on the whitelist at the moment.
Okay.
We cover 30 local councils across the state, averaging around. So for most servers, you have a pretty massive whitelist, but not all of them will play, and that's pretty standard across the world. We'll have around about 80 or 90 that are regular.
Okay.
They'll come in at least once a month to do a build competition, or they'll stick around for a week or so. A lot of these kids are great. They really focus on school, and then they'll come in school holidays and stuff. And so school holidays, we get slammed, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we're pretty big.
Excellent. Well, that's all we've got time for. As usual, we've gone slightly over. So thank you once again for your time, John and Kirsty. And also thanks to my colleague, Jackie, who's been busy working behind the scenes, helping make things run smoothly. So this session has been recorded. We'll email around a link once it's available to view online. And if you know somebody who'd be interested in watching it, please feel free to share the link once it is live. Our next Insight in Conversation session will be held in July to coincide with the release of the July-August issue of Insight. And speaking of which, we're currently taking submissions for this issue with the theme, I Believe. We're keen to hear a range of perspectives on how our professional practice is often guided or works alongside our personal beliefs. So if you're keen to write something, our submission deadline is next week on the 18th of May. I'd also mention next week is Library and Information Week, so keep an eye out for things going on in the library world. But until then, thanks for coming along, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.